Hey guys, here's a video to help you with some of the examples we didn't have time for from class. I think we had started this, but we didn't quite finish. So I'm just going to go through them all just to make sure everybody's okay with it. And if you need any additional help or explanation, be sure and let me know. Name 3 collinear points from this picture. So you're just looking for any of the lines that are here and just looking for any 3 points on those lines. So like A, P, and B. So A, P, and B are 3 points that are on the same line. You certainly could have done CPD or JDK in any order. You're just listing them, so it doesn't really matter what order you put those in to answer that question. So as long as they're on the same line, they're considered collinear. For non-collinear, we basically just have to purposefully not pick 3 points that are on the same line. So you can still go A and P, but I'm going to skip B. I'm going to just go like to C or D or J or K. So some other point that's not on this line, I'll just, for sake of ease, I'll just put the first one I saw, which was C. Okay, again, more than one right answer for these. I'm just going to give one example so you've got it. For coplanar points, so this just means that the points are on the same plane. So you're looking at the plane, let's look at plane R here. So APB with C, so APB with C are all on that plane. APB with D, DPBC. ACDB. You know, however you want to combine those 4 out of those 5 points, you'll be able to get this one correct. They're still coplanar. Okay? You could make an argument for JDK with P, or actually really JDK with any of the other ones. You could draw a plane through. It's not there currently, but it technically exists. But the easier answer would probably be to just pick something that's already drawn, but any of those other ones you can make an argument for. For non-coplanar, we just got to make sure we pick something that can't actually be on the same plane. Okay? So if you look at that carefully, you know, like points A, P, C with D, right? A, P, and C are definitely on this plane, and D is definitely not on that plane. So A, P, C with D would be a good example of non-coplanar. Okay? Somebody might say, you know, what about J, D, A, and P or something like that? There's technically a plane that could cut through that contains all 4 of those. So even though it's not drawn, they're technically still coplanar. So what you want to try to do is pick ones that are on the, pick 3 of them that are on the same plane for sure, that sort of make the plane. You know, A, P, C, something non-collinear, and then pick some point off the plane. Then you're guaranteed they're non-coplanar no matter how you draw it. 2 lines that intersect line CD. So here's line CD. So you've got line AB. There's line AB. And of course you've got line JK. And you could have named those any way you want. You could have named AB. You could have done BA. You could have even done AP or PB or BP. However you want to write. As long as it's a line, it would continue forever. And both of those would be acceptable. The intersection of line JK with plane R is simply point D. Point D. That's where the line meets that plane. It goes through. Think of it as like this pencil going through a piece of paper. The pencil's cutting through the piece of paper. It's only cutting through at one single point. Okay? Now, we can also do some sketching. Let me try to get the camera down here. Actually, let me just do this so I can slide it underneath. There we go. So now we're going to try to do some sketching. So in the first examples, I sketched it for you, and then we had to basically describe all these things. Here, I actually am giving you the description, and we have to be able to draw it. So we want a plane and a line that is in the plane. So I don't know, I typically draw my planes kind of like parallelograms. And if I want a line that's in the plane, I'm just going to make sure that that line looks like it's actually in the plane. Okay, I could label everything if I want. I could call this, you know, plane Q. And this could be point A and point B, and then I'd have line AB in plane Q. Alright? Now I want a plane and a line that does not intersect the plane. So if I draw that same plane, plane Q, I just got to make sure my line appears that it's not intersecting this plane at all. Okay, if I were to draw it right here, you know, then I don't know for sure. Did the person mean that it's above the plane, or are they actually on the plane? So what I would do is I would literally just draw it somewhere separate. Somewhere completely separate, away from where the plane is. So yeah, somebody can make the argument that the plane continues, but by me drawing them separate, I'm indicating that I want this I don't want the line to be on the paper. I'm actually lifting it up off the paper, or I'm actually putting it below. Okay? So that would be a line not on the plane. A plane and a line that intersect the plane at one point. Okay, we kind of talked about that a second ago with the pencil going through the paper. So here's your plane, and I need a line that intersects the plane at a single point. So I need to somehow draw a line going through the plane. So well, you could do one of two ways. You could just kind of like know that it's passing through and realize that underneath you can't see the line until you get to here, because it's kind of hiding behind what you've sort of labeled as the plane, right? So this is sort of like a pencil coming through the paper. So this could be point A, this could be point B, this could be point C, and this would be coming through. Sometimes what people like to do is they like to use a little dashed line to kind of show that it's sort of underneath. That's fine too. And you could draw it in any direction you want. But this gives you that visual of the line kind of going through the plane at a single point. Two planes intersecting, you can do a couple different ways. I've seen people do it where they sort of draw it like a 3D box kind of scenario. So here's plane P and here's plane Q, and they intersect right here. Okay, if you want to draw it like that. I've seen people do it this way, where you draw the plane like this, and then you kind of get a little creative here. Where you're kind of showing that it's cutting through the plane. So you have one piece of paper kind of cutting through the other piece of paper, okay? And then that would make, actually, I'll use my eraser here to make it even clearer. I should have done that first. And I can make this dotted too. So plane Q, I wouldn't be able to see this part. If this is plane R, I'd be able to see this whole time. If I shade it, actually, what if I shade it? Maybe that'll make it more obvious. That's the part you can see, and that's the part you can see for R. Okay, so hopefully you can see that if that came out in the video. Okay, I'll make that a little darker. And that looks like two planes intersecting, and they intersect right where that line meets there. But this is good too. This shows it as well. How about two planes that don't intersect, but a line that also does intersect both planes? So here's a plane up here, here's a plane down there, they don't intersect, P, Q, and I want a line that goes through both. So I'm going to do the same trick I did before. So it cuts through, I ran out of a little space there, and it looks like it's going through both of those planes like a pencil going through two pieces of paper. Okay, again, you could use the dash lines if that helps. Dash lines if that helps. Okay, and last but not least, two planes that do not intersect. All right, been there, two planes that don't intersect, and a third plane that intersects the first two. So basically you do this just one more time, right? So I'll do it again and I'll erase what's needed. So if I do that, I know it's coming through here. It should be straighter, should be in line with that. And that's coming down here. And let's have it cut through there. And then I'll clean it up. Okay, so I won't be able to see that. I won't be able to see that. And I'll shade it. So this will be R. I'm going to shade plane R so it's more obvious what I'm talking about. There's R, and there's R. So there's plane R passing through planes P and Q, but P and Q have no intersection according to this diagram. Okay? Hopefully that helps with the sketching. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can see mine aren't perfect, but they at least, I think they represent what the instructions say. And then here you have multiple ways of writing the answers depending on what points you see. And if you need any help with any of that, please be sure and let me know, and I will see you guys later.